Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello. Welcome to episode 61 of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. It's been a hot minute, right? It's been a while. And that is part of what has been keeping me up at night. I think that was really poor grammar. That is what is. At any rate, that has been part of what's been keeping me. That's not any better. Gosh, I need to go back to school. What I'm trying to say is it's been a while. I'm aware that it's been a while. I apologize. And part of the reason it has been a hot minute since I have done an episode is this year it's been the first for me, meaning Mother's Day. This is my very first Mother's Day without my mom. It's my birthday was in April. It was the first birthday that I've ever had without my mom. It's the first Mother's Day without my mom. And so this year is hard because when you have a loved one that passes away and you suddenly have to go through all of the holidays and birthdays and all of that stuff, their birthday, your birthday, the holidays and all of that. For the first time without them, not just for the first time, all the times. Every time you have to go through those things without your loved one or your friend or whoever it is, it's hard, but especially when it's the very, very first time. So this is my very first Mother's Day, my very first birthday without my mom. So I was struggling a lot and I kind of went into a weird funk, I guess. Gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. Every time I do a podcast, I notice that I just kind of jump right into it. I don't do any, foreplay. I don't get you guys excited with a little foreplay. I just kind of jump right into it. And because I don't have another person, it's just me. We don't do any banter. There's no banter. There's no chit chat. There's nothing to warm you guys up. I just am like, bam, episode 61, bam, start talking about crap. So I'm sorry. There's really no other way to do it, though, right? I don't have anyone else that I'm talking to. I tried to make a podcast again for the 10th time where I could do a podcast with my, I'm going to call them my grandchildren, for lack of a better word, my son's girlfriend's children. They're not married, but I'm still going to call them my grandkids because it's weird to say my son's girlfriend's children. That sounds very odd. I did a pretty hilarious podcast with them and it was amazing. The problem was I recorded it and they were talking so quiet and they kept moving around that you could barely hear what they were saying. It was crazy. You couldn't hear anything they were saying and there was just too much commotion in the background. And I know that I don't edit things and I know that I let my dogs bark and you can hear helicopters and, me drinking a drink and all that stuff and cars going by. But this was just it was a lot. It was just a lot of noise in the backdrop and they were talking really quiet. And when I listened to it again, I was like, man, but they are hilarious and intelligent and they deserve their own talk show. I swear they need their own talk show and they are the most intelligent kids in the world. And the stuff, it's like the show Kids Say the Darndest Things. Swear they need to have their own show. But at any rate, a huge part of why I have not done a podcast in a long time is I kind of went into a little funk. And then every time I would start to do a podcast, I would get interrupted constantly and it just seems to have not gone over well. But here I am finally doing a podcast. I know there's not a lot of people that are sitting there going, oh man, when is Courtney going to put out a podcast? Because there's not, but you know what? I cannot tell you how much those of you that are listening to me and continue to listen to me and do wait for when I put out another podcast, I cannot tell you. I honestly mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. For anybody that's tuned in one time or more than once, I don't even know how to thank you. If I could see you guys, if I could shake your hand, if I could give you a hug, I would. And especially anybody from Canada that's listening to me, because I know I pick on Canada a lot. I feel like I'm Canada's big sister. I feel like I'm Canada's American big sister because I pick on Canada a lot. But I love you, crazy Canucks. I really do. Um, I I love to pick on you the way that a big sister does a little sibling. I'm an only child, so I'm only going by everybody else in the world that has siblings, and the fact that I have two kids and I know how siblings are with each other. Um, but it's really funny because all I know about Canada, I lived in Birch Bay, which is like 20 minutes from the Canadian border. So I used to go to, I started to say Canada. I used to go to Canada all the time when I was 9 years old. We used to go there all the time because I would lived like 20 minutes away, half an hour away. And other than that, from going there, and then I've been there since. As an adult, I've been to Vancouver numerous times, but that's all I know. I just know Vancouver. That's it. Um, and I realize there's obviously a gigantic country out there. It's not just Vancouver. Just like everybody thinks that Oregon consists of only Portland. People think that Portland is like the only city in freaking Oregon. And I'm sure that I don't think that Vancouver is the only city that exists in Canada, but that's the only one I've been to. I have been to literally no other cities other than Vancouver. I used to go to the PNE. Those of you in Canada will know what the PNE is. It's pretty fantastic, or at least it was. I don't know if they still have it, but I like to pick on Canada because they are America's like, well, I don't, you know what? I feel stupid. I feel incredibly ignorant because I don't know who's older. I feel like America is older than Canada, but I might be talking out my ass. I mean, I could be looking it up right now, but regardless, I feel like America and Canada have this odd love-hate relationship, the way that Oregon and California do. Actually, no. I'm not going to compare Oregon and California because Oregonians do not like Californians. It's more like a Bloods and Crips with Oregon and California. We don't really care for each other. So I guess it's not the same as Canada because I feel like Americans like Canadians. We just have weird little big sister sibling rivalry going on. And maybe Canadians feel the same about us. I'm not sure. I need to interview some Canadians and see what their thoughts are on us Americans. Because Americans are annoying in their own right. Let me tell you, I tell you all the time, I do not think that America is perfect by any means. Holy Lord, especially not right now. Right this moment, America is kind of the laughing stock of the whole planet. We're ran by a man who I feel bad. He needs to, like I said, I've said this before. He needs to be in a memory care facility, or he needs to be at home with a caregiver. He should not be running our country. And I love how supposedly Joe Biden had a very recent cognitive test done. And I guess he also had a very, very thorough and complete mental and physical um, checkup. And apparently he just passed with flying colors. He had no issues. He's healthy as a horse, just the healthiest man alive, which we all know is horse pucky. We all know that that's not the case at all. So I love how our government just blatantly lies to our face. It's absolutely insane. It's extraordinarily ridiculous. Our government has just lied and lied. And all of the quote conspiracy theorists that have had all these quote conspiracy theories about our government, well, crazy. It's all turned out to be true. every dang last one of these supposed conspiracy theories that people have had since Biden has taken office has all turned out to be 100% true. So not conspiracy theory, not at all, actual truth. And so I don't think that our country is any better than Canada, and I don't think Canada is any better than us. I think we both have our issues. I think we are both beautiful countries. I mean, I can't talk. I guess I've only seen Vancouver, right? So I'm assuming I've seen pictures. Does that count? I've seen a lot of pictures of different areas of Canada, and it looks gorgeous. Um, and I know that America is beautiful. And I've been to 7 other countries, and I can safely say that we are all, like I always, always, always say, I'm going to say the same thing. Every single country, city, town has its pros and cons. Every single country has flaws, and every single country has things that work. And America is an incredibly young country. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just kind of making it up. But what I can say is a lot of people are really going out of their way to try to move here. So we can't be too terrible if people are going out of their way to try and move here, right? Like we can't be too terrible if that's what we're trying to do. So I'm okay. Thank you. See, I love this, you guys. Every time I'm pulled over and every time I'm talking, our neighbors are so great that we have each other's back and they pull over to see if I'm okay. I love that. It makes me have hope that people aren't the assholes that I think they are. I feel like there's just so many people that go out of their way to do good and they don't get the credit they deserve. And I'm kind of in this jaded cantankerous mood lately where I'm just pissed off at the world and think everybody sucks. And that's horrible because people don't suck. People are amazing. There's a lot there. I feel like there's far more amazing people than shitty ones, right? It's just the shitty ones always get the press. The shitty people get the press, and that's what's sad. And partially because the good people don't want the press. It's like I've said all along, when you do a good deed, you should do it because you want to for yourself. You shouldn't do it because you're getting a plaque. You shouldn't do it because you're getting a West Wing dedicated to you or because you're getting credit and attention. You should do it because you want to, right? And so I'm sure there's many, many, many wonderful people out there that just don't get the credit or don't want to get attention for it. And kudos to them because that's how I am. I do good things. Well, I guess now I'm bringing attention to it. Shoot. But I don't know. I haven't done a podcast because I've been trying to pull myself out of this partially depressed mode because I'm missing my mom. I don't want to say more than I thought I would because that sounds bitchy and it sounds like I'm saying I didn't think I was going to miss my mom. And that's not the case. It's not that. It's just that I didn't want her to suffer. I saw how much she's suffering. I see how much people with dementia suffer. And I wanted her to be at peace. I didn't want her to die. I didn't want her not to be on this earth anymore. I wanted her to be next to me. I'm just saying I didn't want her to suffer. But, and my mom and I have had a lot of struggles. We haven't always had the best relationship. But man, I am missing her about 1,000,000,000 times more than I ever thought. And I've been struggling, especially with Mother's Day and my birthday. And 4th of July is coming up, and she loved that. And it's just been hard. I have such horrific PTSD from the entire way that she died and under the circumstances. And I'm, like I've said before, Kate Brown and her policies and COVID in Oregon and their policies have prevented me from seeing my mom. And my mom died lonely and scared, crying out for me. Like I said, about, I don't know, 3 months before she passed, she stopped being able to use her phone. And so, and then because of Kate effing Brown, I wasn't allowed to visit her, so I couldn't talk to her on the phone. couldn't go visit her. I several times told the facility that I was coming there no matter what, didn't care if I got arrested. And then I did that. I went and I said, well, you can arrest me. I'm going in to see my mom. And if you need to call the cops, well, you do what you got to do. But I'm going to see my mom, and you can just call the fucking cops if you need to. You can drag me out of here, but I'm going to go see my mom. And to their credit, they did let me. I think they saw it in my eyes. I think they knew that I meant business. And in all honesty, it's absolutely the most horrific, um, god awful thing that Kate Brown and her fucking little minions with this goddamn state, how many people had to die alone and scared? How many people didn't get to say goodbye to their family members? I can't, I wish that we could sue the state. Not that would fix the problem. Suing doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't get time back. It doesn't take lives back. It doesn't give lives back. It doesn't give time back. And it doesn't make things less traumatic. But my mom, before she was unable to use her phone, used to call me all the time, begging me to come see her, wondering why I couldn't come see her. Saying, Courtney, can you please come see me? I'm scared. I'm lonely. I don't want to die alone. I'm scared. I'm lonely. And do you know how much it breaks my heart not to have been able to say goodbye to my mom and not be able to hold her hand, to be able to hug her, to tell her that everything was going to be okay and that I was here for her. She just thought that I just wasn't here. And the fact that she had dementia, she didn't remember. She didn't remember the things that I told her. She didn't know why I couldn't come. She didn't understand why I couldn't come. I can't ever get that back. And it's been really, really hard. It's been, I just wouldn't wish it on anybody. Let me tell you this. When you have somebody, I don't care if it's your mom, your aunt, your friend, I don't care who it is, when they're calling you and you can't look at them and you can't see them and you can't touch them and you can't comfort them and they're alone, yet caregivers get to come see them, nurses get to see them, med techs get to see them, housekeepers get to see them, their doctors get to see them, their physical therapist gets to see my mom. All of those people got to see my mom after they had gone from resident to resident to resident to resident. And I, coming from my house, wearing a mask, going straight to my mom's house, shutting the door, and just her and I together, I wasn't allowed to do that. My mom was immobile. I couldn't take her out. My mom ended up dying of being severely septic. She had a catheter. I had to fight and fight and fight with the fucking caregivers. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, but with the bleeping caregivers and with the nurses and with everybody there. I had to fight with them because I noticed that when the very few times I was allowed to see my mom, she'd been sitting in the same clothes that she was sitting in for like a week or two. Her catheter looked disgusting. Her doctors, by the way, she was supposed to go to a urologist. She was supposed to have numerous appointments with a neurologist. And every bleeping time I would make an appointment for my mom to go to the urologist with her catheter, to get her catheter taken care of and to get her urinary tract issues taken care of. I would make an appointment in about a day or two before my mom would wait like 3 weeks to a month to be able to get into her appointments. And then about the time that she was supposed to be seen, a day or two before she was supposed to have her appointment, they would call me and cancel the appointment because they were short-staffed. They were short-staffed because, again, effing Kate Brown was making it mandatory, which you're not supposed to do. It's illegal. But she made it mandatory to have vaccinations, to have the COVID vaccination for healthcare people. And if they didn't get that vaccination, they got fired. They got fired if they didn't get the vaccination. And so they lost a lot of people. And because they lost a lot of people, they were incredibly short-staffed. So they never had enough staff to be able to take all the appointments. So Kate Brown and Biden killed my mom and many other people's mom, dad, grandma, sister, uncle, aunt, nephew, whatever. Kate Brown and the Biden administration, for a fact, killed, not COVID. COVID is not what killed my mom. COVID didn't kill my mom. Severe septic killed my mom. And my mom was severely septic because her catheter never got attention. Her urinary tract issues never got attention. Why? Because there was never any staff. Why? Because Biden made it mandatory to inject shit into your body, which is a bunch of fucking horse shit. People shouldn't be told to put things into their body that had only been around for like 6 fucking months. And there was no way of knowing what the side effects were going to be. It hadn't been tested enough. I'm not saying that those of you that got the vaccination, I'm not saying that you're wrong or right, not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that's not something you can make mandatory. You can't make it mandatory to inject shit into your body. And all those out there that are pro-choice and are like, my body, my choice, my body, my choice. Great. Well, guess what? Those same fucking people were like, get the vaccination or you're a horrible person. Get the vaccination or you're a Nazi. Get the vaccination or you're a terrible person that's killing everybody. And guess what? What a shitty fucking thing to say, because what if I told you to get an abortion? You have to get an abortion or you have to inject whatever this is. You have to take this drug. You don't get to tell people what they put into their bodies. And my mom and a lot of people's family members died alone and scared because of the Biden administration and because of Kate goddamn Brown. I'm not going to lie. I hope that Kate Brown winds up getting the worst, most horrific, slow disease, that she rots away and slowly dies. I don't care if that makes you sound evil. But I hope she does. And I kind of hope that the whole entire Biden administration gets some disgusting, terrible virus, and that the only way that they can help themselves is by taking some virus that had only been put together at the very last minute, and that it ends up causing a whole bunch of side effects to it. And then they end up dying from the side effects or the disgusting disease. I know that's awful. I know a lot of you probably won't listen to me anymore after saying that, but I do. Because they killed a lot of people for no reason. They killed a lot of people so they can get money. They killed a lot of people so they can make deals with other countries and with other people. They sacrificed American lives. They sacrificed American citizens for the greater good of themselves. Let that sit for a while. My mom was scared shitless, hallucinating and dying alone and crying. I didn't get to say goodbye to my mom. I didn't get to be around my mom. I didn't get to be around her at all because of fucking Kate Brown for no reason. There was zero logic, zero stats, zero reason that I shouldn't have been able to be with my mom, especially when I was with her all by myself in a locked room, closed room with a mask on. No reason for it. So my mom is dead now because she never got to go to any of the doctors. They canceled doctors. She didn't go to a doctor, I don't know, probably for a year, because they couldn't keep staff, because they were making it mandatory for vaccinations. I have got PTSD like you would not believe. And I've already suffered enough trauma from people dying. Like I said, my dad and my dog on the same day, on my 9th birthday, died. I have had a grandma of mine die on a different birthday. I've had so much tragedy in my life. I don't know. I feel like really asshole people tend to have the best lives ever, and the good people end up working the hardest and suffering the most. And I'm over it. I want all the fuckers out there that don't work for no reason. I get if you don't work because you're retired. I get if you don't work because you are disabled. I get if you don't work because you're you're still working, but if you're an at-home parent, that's still work. I just meant as at a job that you have to go to. But I am really tired of the entitled, lazy pieces of crap out there that mooch off of everybody else. I'm sick and tired of working hard and sacrificing so that lazy, entitled pieces of crap that have contributed nothing to society continue to live in this little plushy bubble lifestyle. And everything that's going on in the world right now, it's just gotten where these entitled little punk brats think that they can call the shots. Bratty children are trying to take over our country. I can safely say that I never used to be racist, prejudiced, never used to notice people's color so much as I do now. Now if I see someone that's Latino, Native American, Asian, Black, whatever, I notice. You know why I notice? Because everyone calls me racist if I say things that aren't even a little bit close to racist. People misuse words so often now. No one seems to know vocabulary anymore. No one knows the actual meaning to words, and they just throw out terms like bigot, racist, supremacist, like it's the word the. I've been threatened. I've been called names and had my life threatened over the most ridiculous things. I just fear for everything right now. It's gotten out of control. Hang on, I'm taking a drink of beer. Anyway, I just fear for our country. I'm fearing for the world as a whole right now. And I'm trying to wake up every day and find the good. I'm trying to wake up every day and still not contribute to the hate. I'm trying to, bring positivity and good spin on things and not stoop down to the bad level, the negative level that we're at right now. But I'm human. I'm not a robot. So I'm going to have days where I'm pissed off and angry and saying things like, I hope that Kate Brown and all of Biden administration gets a terrible, horrible disease and dies. I shouldn't say that. I hope they don't die. That's not what I mean. I hope they suffer with some disease and they don't die. I hope they live for a long time suffering with a disease. Is that better? No, that doesn't make me better. But that's how I feel. And I'm going to be honest with it. And I'm guaranteeing you that there are other people out there that feel the same way. It doesn't make it right. I realize it's not right. I realize it makes me probably a bad person, but it's all right. I can live with that because they have single-handedly killed many people, all for their own greater good. And that makes you even worse. Also, I found out on that note that 7 people died in a car accident the other day around where I live. 7 people were in a van, got smushed between 2 semis. Do you want to know whose fault it was? You want to know who killed 7 people? An illegal immigrant that somehow was driving a semi-truck. I would ask you, how did an illegal immigrant get a driver's license and why were they operating a truck, a semi-truck? Why did they have a job? Why did an illegal immigrant not only have a job, but have a driver's license? And guess what else? They were drunk. At 2:05 in the p.m., 2:05 in the afternoon, an illegal immigrant was drunk, shouldn't have had a license or a job, was drunk, and killed 7 people in one vehicle. There are kids getting sex trafficked, fentanyl deaths, and people on fentanyl on the rise. For the life of me, I do not understand. I can't wrap my head around why there is a single human being on this planet, let alone in the United States, that still thinks that Joe goddamn Biden and his stupid moron of a puppet, Vice President Kamala, yesterday was yesterday. Today was today as it was yesterday. And yesterday is today as it is tomorrow. What kind of drugs are you on? But anybody that still thinks that they're good people and would vote for them, or that they're competent in any way, and believes the horse crap that Biden actually was approved by some doctor who claims that he not only doesn't have dementia or any kind of health issues or any kind of mental issues or any kind of that he's just 100% competent and is in tip-top mental and physical shape. That's what they said. That is what they said. They said he is. All right. Sorry, I got a phone call. That was weird. I got a phone call in the middle of everything. I hope I didn't screw stuff up. But now I don't know what I was talking about. Anyways, I was on a tangent. My tangent was that anybody that would still believe in the Biden administration is, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. You need God. Well, anybody that's still listening to my podcast already knows where I stand, and I'm assuming that you're going to be Republican. And if you're Democrat, it's not like all Democrats are the same. I realize I'm not trying to be stereotypical. I'm not trying to lump a group of people. I have many, many, many friends that are Democrats, and I love them to death. So let me just say this. If you are going to vote for Biden, you're an idiot. You just are. I'm sorry. Because there is just no logical reason to vote for a man who I don't give a shit what his supposed doctors say. I would like to actually see the physical. I would like to actually see the reports, because I'm here to tell you there's no way that man would pass any kind of test. So if you're still on the Biden train, you need to probably be evaluated. I'm just going to say it, whether it makes people mad or not. You probably need to stop. You need to educate yourself. Probably watch a lot of news and read some newspapers that actually give facts, not ones that are censored and paid off by God knows who. And you should probably just do your research. Because if you're still voting for him, you clearly aren't paying attention. So, at any rate, I really want to be an advocate for people that have family members that have dementia and Alzheimer's. And I'm so sorry. It is a really hard thing to go through. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. I say all the time, as much as I can't stand Biden, it breaks my heart knowing that he has dementia. Don't give a shit what the supposed doctors say. I don't think they actually said that. That's just what they're telling us that the doctor said. And if the doctor said that, well, then he's not a doctor. He's like a 4-year-old that is not a doctor. But I wouldn't wish it even on Biden. I say all the time, Biden needs to retire and go lay down and go on vacation and he needs to retire. He needs to be able to eat his ice cream and ride his bike and not worry about anything. And Kamala needs to go away. And anybody that's ever dealt with anybody that's had dementia or Alzheimer's will know it's horrible. And if I ever get it, I just want someone to take me out to pasture and shoot me, because it's terrible. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It's so awful. And my mom had to go through that on her own. On her own. While she's begging me. Can you guys imagine getting phone calls back when my mom could call? Calls that would consist of, please, Courtney, can you come get me? Why can't you come get me? Can you please come get me? Can I see you? I just want to hold you. I just want to hug you. I'm scared. I'm lonely. I'm scared. I'm lonely. Do you know how absolutely devastating that is? How helpless she and I felt? I had to bust into the memory care facility and tell them that they could call the cops on me. They needed to call the cops on me if they wanted me to back off. Not very many people would do that. So a lot of people just listened to the memory care facility staff, to the director of the memory care facility, or listened to Kate Brown, or listened to what people said. I'm not someone that's going to listen to rules when I'm all about following rules. I realize rules are in place for a reason. I understand that. But if you're going to keep me from my mom, fuck you. You're not going to keep me from my mom. I don't give a shit if I get arrested. I don't care. That's just me. That's my personality. Don't tell me what to do when I know that I'm right. And this isn't about right or wrong. This is about my mom and her not dying alone. I don't give a crap what side of the fence you are. You're not going to want your family member to die scared and alone while they're begging you to come see them. What was I supposed to do? I shouldn't have had to burst in there and tell them, I don't give a fuck if you call the cops or not. I shouldn't have had to have done that. I shouldn't have had to call their bluff. A lot of people didn't do what I did because they were worried they were going to have the cops called on them. Can you believe that? A memory care facility is going to call the cops on a family member for coming to see their family, and hospitals kicked family members out of the room and wouldn't allow them in. That is not okay. Not okay. There's no amount of anything that can take that back. And I am going to sue. Money isn't going to make it better, but you know what? I can put that money to good use, and I could put that money to charity, and I could put that money for awareness for dementia. I can do it in my mom's honor. So I haven't done a podcast in a while because I've been extraordinarily just trying to wrap my head around the fact that my mom's gone, and I feel like I should have done more. I feel like I should have burst the doors down numerous times, and I didn't. I feel horrible that I didn't do that every single time. Every single time I should have demanded that I was going to see my mom and they could call the cops, and I didn't give a shit, and I didn't. I didn't do it, and I should have. And now my mom died basically not thinking that I cared. And I got to tell you, that is a hard pill to swallow. It has been weighing on my heart. It has been something that I can't get over, and something that I am not going to forgive myself or this fucking country and this goddamn state for. I hope Kate Brown gets dementia, and I hope she suffers. I know that's terrible, you guys. I know it. I just said I wouldn't wish dementia on my worst enemy, and I guess I'm a hypocrite because I don't know. It's hard. So I've been wallowing in self-pity. But to all of you out there who have struggled during COVID, and there's a lot of us, unnecessarily. And again, all of us supposed quote, quote, conspiracy theorists are right. So suck it, all of you that thought we were crazy. We were right. Unfortunately, we were 100% correct. COVID was a big, gigantic non-issue, was never an issue. Just a way for Big Farm to make a bunch of money and our government to make a bunch of money and bring our country down. Neat. At the expense of us citizens. It's just gross. It's so gross. It's just gross. And every country, I feel like, handled it ridiculous. I don't really feel like there's a country out there that handled it well. But I will speak for my own country. We got a big F. So those are the things that have been on my mind. And why it's been a while since I've done a podcast. I've been trying to, I've just been struggling. Also, I've tried to do a podcast, like I said, a couple of times, and it just didn't work out. So anyway, I'm going to end this on a good note. And that is, again, I can't tell you how much I really, really, really appreciate those of you out there who listen to me time and time again. God, you guys are awesome. I wish I could hug every one of you or shake every one of your hands and tell you thank you to your face. I just thank you. Really, honestly, thank you. I'm trying my best to put out decent quality podcasts. I really do need to get like a sidekick. I need a Robin. I need a Robin to my Batman so that Batman, I don't know why. But anyway, because I'm sure it's boring just listening to me. I'm sure I'm not that exciting just sitting here talking to myself. But so I need to get a partner in crime. But I noticed that the podcast that got the most hits is the one that I did with my son. So apparently my son and I need to do another podcast again because that's the one that everybody's been listening to. So apparently we make a good team. So I promise that will happen. I have tried. It just, for whatever reason, keeps not working out when I do try. So it will come. It will happen. Anyway, hey, happy Sunday. It is Sunday in my neck of the woods. It's Sunday at around 7:47, y'all. 7:47 in the PM on a Sunday. And you know what? Whatever time it is or day it is, because I'm assuming in other countries are 12 hours ahead, it's going to be 7 in the morning elsewhere. So thank you. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just remember that you are not the entire world. There are others that exist. There are other people that have opinions and beliefs. Your beliefs, your opinions, your wants, your needs are not the only ones. There are other people that have wants, needs, opinions, beliefs. And we need to take that into account. There are too many people right now that are just thinking about themselves and just their beliefs and just their wants and just their needs. And it's become a very me, I type of world. And it's sad. We need to do a lot less me's and a lot more others, everybody else. We need to be helping our fellow neighbor. Because you know what? Here in America, we have each other, right? What's going to happen if our government's out of control? We need to be sticking together because in the end, we only have each other. So even our other countries, we all need to band together because we all need each other's help. There's going to be a time when we all need someone else's help, whether it's another country's help, another city's help, another person's help. We all eventually need someone else's help. So we all need to band together. So I am wishing you the most amazing Sunday, or if it's Monday, wherever you are, or whenever you listen to this, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And just remember, the bullies out there are bullies because they're insecure. Maybe they've had a bad life. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they're bored. Usually it's insecurity. And just you do you. You be the best you that you can possibly be. And thank you. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, you've been listening to episode 61 of The Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney Perry. Thank you. Have a good night.